Every single day, we all face this one fundamental choice over and over again. It happens when you're picking a movie, choosing your route to work, or even just figuring out what to have for lunch. Do you stick with what you know and love, or do you take a chance on something new? So let's dive into this, because this isn't just some human quirk. It's actually one of the most important problems in all of artificial intelligence.
Just think about it this way. It's Friday night. You could head to your favorite restaurant, right? The food's great, the service is solid. It's a guaranteed good time. Or you could try that new place that just opened down the street. It might just be the best meal of your life. Or, it could be a total bust. So, what do you do?
And right there, that's the classic trade-off. We call it explore versus exploit. You can explore, try the new restaurant, get some new information, and take on a little short-term risk for what might be a huge long-term win. Or you can exploit, go to your favorite spot, use the info you already have, and lock in that guaranteed short-term reward. Every single online system that makes a decision for you is wrestling with this exact same problem. So, to really study this dilemma in its purest form, researchers came up with this brilliant thought experiment. It's designed to strip away all the extra noise, the menus, the ambiance, all that, and just boil the problem down to its absolute core. It's called the one-armed bandit problem. Or, actually, to be a bit more accurate for what we're talking about, the multi-armed bandit problem. So, picture this. You're in a casino, and you're standing in front of a whole row of slot machines, those old-school one-armed bandits. Here's the catch. Each machine has a different secret probability of paying out. You've only got a limited number of coins to play, and your goal is simple. Walk away with as much cash as possible. Which levers do you pull? And in what order? The way it works is basically a loop. Step 1, you choose an arm to pull. Step 2, you get a reward, or maybe you get nothing. Step 3, and this is the most important part, you update what you know based on that result. And step 4, you just repeat the whole process. Now, what's so cool about this is that the actions you take directly change the data you see. You're not just passively watching. You are actively building your own data set as you go. Okay, so how do we even know if we're making good choices here? We need some way to measure the cost of our mistakes, right? A way to quantify that feeling of, what if I had just picked the other machine the whole time? Well, in machine learning, this has a very specific name: regret. And just to be clear, we're not talking about an emotion here. Total regret is a number. It's the mathematical difference between the absolute best you could have done, if you'd magically known the best machine from the very start, and what you actually walked away with. So the goal of any smart agent isn't just to win big, it's to keep that total regret as low as possible over time. Because if you use a really simple strategy, like, say, trying each machine just once and then sticking with whichever one paid out the most on that single try, you're probably going to be in trouble. You could easily get locked onto a pretty mediocre machine forever just because you got unlucky on your first pull of the actual best one. And this chart shows you exactly what that looks like. With a naive, or what we call a greedy strategy, your total regret just keeps on climbing. It just goes up and up and up. Every time you pull that wrong lever, you're falling further behind the best possible path. You're making the same mistake over and over, and that missed opportunity just grows and grows. But a smart strategy? Whoa, it looks totally different. Its regret is what we call sublinear. What that means is, yeah, you're going to make some mistakes at the beginning while you're learning, but the rate at which you make mistakes slows down over time. Your choices get better and better, and that regret curve starts to flatten out. So the big question is, how on earth do we do that? So how do we get that regret curve to flatten? Well, it turns out the solution isn't just about exploring randomly. There's this one core principle that lets an agent explore intelligently, and honestly, it's a surprisingly optimistic idea. The principle is this: optimism in the face of uncertainty. It's such a great phrase. It basically means that when you are the most unsure about an option's real value, you should act as if it's the best possible option out there. This simple idea is the key that unlocks really smart, efficient learning, because it forces you to try the things you know the least about. And that's exactly where the biggest discoveries are hiding. Okay, let's look at this table to make it super clear. The green machine, it's done pretty well for us so far, and we're pretty confident in its value. The red one is okay. But look at the blue machine. Its average score is the lowest right now, but our uncertainty about it is really, really high. The optimism principle screams, pick me, even though it looks bad on paper. Why? Because it has the greatest potential to be that hidden jackpot, and the only way to know for sure is to explore it. Now, this principle isn't just some vague philosophical idea. It's the actual foundation for some very clever algorithms that put this optimism into practice. So let's check out two of the most famous ones. So on one side, you've got UCB, which stands for Upper Confidence Bound. Think of this one as the cautious analyst. For each machine, it calculates the average payout. But then, and here's the clever part, it adds a curiosity bonus. That bonus is biggest for the machines you've tried the least. So it's always picking the option with the highest combined score of best guess plus uncertainty. Then you have Thompson sampling. This one is more like a gut feeling gambler. Instead of tracking one number, it keeps a whole range of possibilities for each machine's payout. And on every turn, it just kind of imagines a possible reality, samples a random value from each machine's belief, and plays the one that looks best in that one imaginary scenario. It's an incredibly simple and powerful way to let probability guide your exploration.
Okay, so this is about way more than just a thought experiment with slot machines. Solving this exploration-exploitation dilemma is the engine running behind some of the most powerful technologies you use every single day.
Seriously, think about it. Every single time you see a banner ad online, a bandit algorithm decided that was the one most likely to make you click, while also exploring whether a different ad might do even better. News websites use it to pick the perfect headline that'll grab your attention. It's used to make clinical drug trials way more efficient, finding effective treatments faster by giving more patients the drugs that show the most promise, while still exploring brand new options. It is absolutely everywhere. So, the next time you're standing in front of your fridge, or you're scrolling through a streaming service, or just trying to decide what to do with your weekend, just take a second. The exact same logic that powers these massive online systems is at play inside your own head. Are you going to gather some new data, or are you going to cash in on what you already know? Will you explore or will you exploit?